Well, I'm back. I tried getting here last week, but the gravel road that kind of leads to my road was super rutted up, and there was just no way I was getting through there, you know, with all the snow melt and everything. It made the road really soft, and there's a logging crew that's back in that road. That's like 10 miles back, and they have tire chains on their tires and everything, so they had it really rutted up. But anyways, I came back today, and yeah, the road was in pretty good shape. They dragged it and everything, so this could be the last time that I pull the sled in for the year. There's a lot less snow now, but there's still enough where you can't drive back. But I don't know, I'm hoping in like a week I'll be able to get back in here to the parking spot that's a half mile from my place. But either way, this could be the last time I pull a sled in, so that's pretty cool. Looky there, a nice big pile of fresh moose doo-doo. It's always nice to know that my friends are out and about. A little more moose sign there. It's good to see. And of course some wolf doo-doo. Check this out, there's my trail there. Just had to sled across dry ground. Check it out, the sun's out, it's 45 degrees and it's snowing. So check this out, I'm tearing up the floor of the shack here. And this will give you an idea of how they constructed it. And this actually held up for a long time. Like I said, I know it was for sure around in the 1950s because there was pencil marks on the boards that I think they were keeping track of deer, because they used it as a deer camp, and it was like 1954 was I think the oldest date I saw on there. But here's how they did the floor. You can see just logs right on the ground, and surprisingly they held up really well actually. I think keeping them dry and having good drainage helps a lot, but you know, they just put a 2x4 down on top of the log and then set their floor joist right on top of that. So if you're looking for a cheap way to do a floor, this seems to hold up pretty good actually. And you can see they got these little bins kind of going down into the ground, you know, for food storage. But pretty cool, you know, and they just had one across the middle. And this is 12x14, the shack was. But yeah, it held up a long time like this. It's pretty impressive. I knew I'd find an antique or two down here. Here's an old whiskey bottle. Corby's Special Selected Canadian Whiskey. So these are these old steel bins that the previous owners had in the floor of the shack. I'm assuming for food storage, but they're pretty nice metal bins. So I'm trying to figure out a way to use them. So if anybody has any ideas on what I can do for them, I kind of want to do something cool with them rather than just have. I was thinking about putting a bunch of kindling in them, but I think I can find something cooler than that to do with them. I just don't know what. I'm not sure. If you guys got any ideas, let me know. And then this is an old wood stove that they had too, and it's burnt out on the bottom there, but I'm trying to get the door off, but I keep stripping the screws off that's holding it on there, so I'm gonna have to cut it off. But I'm gonna find a use for that too. Nice morning like this, birds chirping. I gotta get my porch built. And then here are the old whiskey bottles and a couple old beer cans that are pretty cool and vintage. I find a lot of beer cans around here. There was definitely many a beers drank around here, but I'm gonna try to incorporate, you know, some sort of a decoration out of these and put it in the cabin, like on a shelf or something. Kind of clean them up and make them look cool as kind of a way to, you know, honor the people that had it before me, because I think they had a pretty good time here. Plus the vintage stuff looks pretty cool. I think it looked cool on a shelf in there. Well, winter's still here, and I'm already preparing for next winter. I know I said in an earlier video I want to get 8 to 10 cords put up, you know, because then next winter I can spend a lot more time doing other things. Where this winter it was pretty much, you know, that we got hit with snow so early that Firewood took a lot of time because there was so much snow. It was hard to get around, and it was pretty much cut, drag over, and split every day, just about. So, yeah, if I can have enough firewood put up for next year and have it nice and dry by the time I get back, that'll be sweet. This is the floor of the old shack. Obviously, I think this is gonna be my woodshed. It's a good area where it gets a lot of sun, so it should dry it out pretty good. So that's kind of the plan. The next few days is getting firewood, and it's like having money in the bank, you know, when you heat with wood. If you got your wood already put up, your heat's already paid for next year, you know. It's kind of the cool thing about this lifestyle is there's no utility bills. You know, you just gotta get out and do it. But it's good exercise. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice day, and yeah, there's really nothing else I'd rather be doing. I like doing firewood. It's a lot of fun. So that's the plan. The next few days, get some wood put up. I want to see this pile nice and tall, all the way out the whole length of the floor would be sweet. I'd feel pretty good about that. Plus, I got all this old shack wood that I'm using for kindling. You know, I already got, you know, that's sweet too, having all that. So get a nice big bin of kindling put up, and then yeah, have enough wood. I'll be in style. Yeah, if you look out in front of the cabin here, it's just a mess. All these wood chips are from me splitting wood out in front here all winter. I'd rake these up, but if you look, there's still, it's hard to tell, but there's still a good foot of solid packed ice underneath all these wood chips. It's going to melt, and I know there's more wood chips in there, so plus I don't have a rake out here, but I'll rake all these up and get rid of them when I can. And then all this wood out in front here, all these chips I'm kind of burning up here since I don't really need all that hot of a fire at night. I'm just kind of getting rid of all the crap out in front here. Old spring cleaning. Alright, I just bucked all those up. A lot of these were actually stuff I cut down earlier last spring when I was clearing land and stuff. So a lot of it's kind of partially dry already. So that'll be really good next year. But I got enough here to keep me busy for a while. So we'll see how big I can get this pile tonight. Alright, I still got some more to do here, but there's a look at the pile now. I'm going to go in and make something to eat right now and start uploading this video, I think. Since we're all kind of sitting around right now, I thought I'd mention a few other channels that you guys should check out if you want to check them out, because, I don't know, YouTube's kind of a weird thing, you know. Every once in a while you get a video that really takes off, and then sometimes you make a video and it doesn't go anywhere. It's just kind of weird, and I think there's a lot of luck involved, and just kind of how it is. But I want to let you guys know about a few channels that are kind of up and coming, or that, you know, haven't really gotten the recognition that I think they deserve. Because everybody knows the big channels, but there's a lot of really good ones out there that aren't that big yet, but are, you know, probably will get big, but are, you know, kind of in the growing stages. And the first one I want to talk about is Cabin Dweller. That's a lady. She lives up in the Yukon, and she lives in her own cabin, and she kind of posts every day, kind of like I do, just kind of everyday stuff, you know, kind of what she's doing. But it's really good channel, and she hasn't gotten the recognition that she deserves yet. So check that out. She's got a really good personality, really fun lady to watch. Another one is Homegrown Country Homestead. That's they're just, I don't know where they're located, but really you can just tell they're a really great family, and they kind of post everyday stuff of what they're doing and projects, and that's a really addicting, good channel to watch. So check them out. And then the North Woodsman, I think that's what it is that's a guy in Canada. I think he's about my age, and yeah, like I said, he's in Canada, and he built a pretty cool little log cabin himself too, and I really like watching his videos. So just thought I'd mention a few other channels. If you guys are looking for stuff to watch, or looking for some new channels or something, go check those out. They're all really good. Alright, well, I think I'm going to call this a video. Start uploading it. I never know how long these are going to take to upload. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 8 hours, sometimes it takes 8 hours and then it doesn't even work and I have to restart. So you just never know. So I'm going to start uploading it right now, and we'll see you guys on the next video. So ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to live out in the middle of the wilderness. I always thought that would be awesome, to get just kind of far out and you know, enjoy the little things in life. You know, wake up to the fresh air, you know, open land all around you, plenty of room, never knowing what you're going to see, maybe a deer in the front yard, a moose in the front yard, who knows. I've just always been fascinated by that, and I always thought that would be a fun way to live. And I remember I saw the Dick Prenneke documentary when I was probably 12 years old, and that was kind of the cherry on top. I was like, yes, that's what I'm going to do right there. I'm going to go out, I'm going to build my own log cabin by myself, and I'm going to live in it. And fortunately, this last spring, I was able to do that. I was able to build my cabin and spent this past winter with myself, my girlfriend, and our dog Skeeter, living out in the wilderness like I'd always dreamed. And I'm going to share some photos in this video of our adventure. So here I am in early November cutting the trail to the cabin, and those of you that have been following me since the beginning know that I had been waiting on this permit to cut this trail for quite a while. It took about 6 months to get it, and a common question that I've been getting asked by newer subscribers is, how were you able to cut a trail like that, or how were you able to build a cabin on National Forest land? Isn't that illegal? The land itself is private. I own the land. I bought it through the previous owner. It's private land. The thing is that it's surrounded on all 4 sides by National Forest. So I was able to access the property if I was just going to hike in, and not do any cutting or anything. That was fine. But if I wanted a trail, which I did, I had to get a permit for that. So I had to go through the U.S. Forest Service and get a permit. So as I mentioned in one of my last videos, I got the cabin pretty much dried in early July and ended up going to town and working, for the rest of the summer. So I had some money through the winter. And as a result of that, I didn't have hardly any firewood put up. So I spent a lot of time this winter doing firewood, going out and cutting standing dead trees on my land and chopping them up and dragging them back in the sled. It was pretty time consuming, but it was pretty fun. It gives you something to do every day and gets you out of the cabin. And of course, I always had my furry little friend with me. This is Skeeter, and he quickly became a fan favorite. He's about 4 months old here, and he's pretty much attached to my hip. He goes everywhere I go. And I have a lot of fun with him. He provides a lot of entertainment for us out here. So one of my favorite things about the wilderness is that you never know what you're going to see. You can take off in any direction and walk, and there's just no telling what you could run into or what you might see. And that's pretty exciting. But here we came across some bear tracks here. This is a mom and 2 cubs that trampled in someone's old deer blind that had been sitting there for years. But they came along and stomped in that deer blind. And that's just one example of the many cool things that we see out here. One of the nice things about having snow on the ground too is that it makes getting supplies back in actually easier, because you can just sled them right in on a sled, and it's a lot easier than carrying stuff through the thick brush like I did, at the beginning of the project. And here I am, just sledding in. We sledded in a bunch of canned food and flour, baking soda, just a lot of stuff that we could cook from scratch with. But pretty good workout, pulling the sled in. But you certainly can't beat the scenery. And I'll tell you what, with all the log building I did and firewood and pulling sleds and breathing in the fresh air, I've never been more healthy in my life. I feel great. So here I am arriving at the cabin with a sled load of goodies. After you're there for a little while, you kind of come up with stuff that would be nice to have, or we wish we had that. So when we'd make a trip to town here and there, and get stuff that would make our life a lot easier. Then, of course, when you're off-grid and heat with a wood stove, every time you leave for a while and get back, the wood stove's out, so the cabin's pretty chilly. So here I am getting the fire going. And you can see the steam coming off my back because I was hot from pulling the sled in. And the nice thing about a 12x16 cabin is that it heats up pretty fast. By the time I get to light the fire, it probably takes 20 minutes before it's 80 degrees in there. So it heats up pretty fast, which is nice. And lots of questions that we got to ask, were how do you get water, or how do you go to the bathroom? So I'll cover that now. How we get our water is we just melt snow. You fill up that stock pot, pack it as tight as you can with snow, put that on the wood stove, and it'll probably make that about half full, because when snow melts, you only get so much water. So that was kind of a everyday chore, of course. Was going out and putting a couple shovelfuls of snow into the stock pot and getting it heated up on the wood stove. And, that was our drinking water, cooking water, and then we had another stock pot that we used for dishes that was pretty much always full. Now, some people might think of that as roughing it, but I never thought it was roughing it. Out here you got plenty of time. And one of the things that I promised Sierra if she was going to spend time out here with me is that I'd have a heated bathroom for her. So this is me kind of putting together a temporary bathroom just to get us through the winter. So I used vertical logs and then scabbed them together and spray foamed in between each log, and then tied that into the cabin. And here I am cutting the hole through the cabin wall. And we had an indoor bathroom, little compost toilet there that runs off sawdust. It's really efficient. There's no odor. You'd be surprised at how good that works. A really simple setup. And then I got a little shower that I made that runs off this pump here that pumps from a stock pot and goes up to the shower head, and of course allows you to take a shower, and that works really well. And that, of course, is a DC pump, so that hooks up to a battery that we charge with our solar panels. Like I said, Skeeter's a pretty good entertainer, so here he is looking at us through the window, wanting us to come out and play. And we take him for hikes every night. He's a springer, so he needs a good walk every day. And out here, he's pretty much living in dog heaven on earth. He's got endless land to run around, doesn't have a collar, no leash, never in a kennel, eats the good food. So we enjoy taking him for walks every night. But yeah, the scenery out here is just beautiful, especially when everything's snow covered like this. It's like living in a snow globe, and it's a pretty cool feeling knowing that you're the only people for miles. It's like you got the whole world to yourself. It's really cool. And like I said, we'd go on hikes every night, and we'd pack down the snow with our snowshoes. You know, so it made it easier for us to get around, but also it allowed Skeeter to get around a lot better because he could hardly get around in the deep snow. So we'd make little trails for him out in the woods, so then he could have little paths to run on. And we did have our fair share of cold out here, but generally speaking, it was a pretty mild winter temperature-wise. We did get a lot of snow, but didn't have a whole lot of minus 30, minus 40 stuff this winter. And I did do a video on my power setup, but a lot of the newer subscribers were asking if I had solar panels and stuff. So these are my solar panels that I charge my batteries with, and then I have a generator here, which comes in handy when it's during the darker winter months. You don't generate a lot of power with your solar panels, so if you've got to power up the generator, you can do that, which is nice. And again, there's my supervisor. I don't think people realize how comfortable you can actually be off-grid. Off-grid's kind of just the trendy term, but I mean, you can still have power with solar panels and a generator. You're just off-grid just means you're not tied to the electrical grid like everybody else, but that doesn't mean you can't have power. So here you can see we had lights in the cabin, and spent the evenings drinking some wine and playing some board games and just enjoying each other's company. And another nice thing about being alone in the wilderness is you create your own schedule. There's no stress. There's no rush for anything. You have nothing but time. So I think this morning it was really cold, and we just decided, let's just hang out and play board games and make good food all day. So that's what we did. Had it nice and toasty inside the cabin, always. Over here will be kind of when you come in, that'll be like kind of our coat rack. And then once the days started getting a little longer and the temps got above zero, I started getting spring fever. So I always spent time doing outside projects, and here I am putting some birch trim around all the windows, which I think gave a nice touch to the cabin. Here's kind of a before and after with the birch trim. Just open cabin, 12 by 16. And again, I do want to thank the Little Yellow House for coming up with this awesome logo and sending us these shirts and the wine glasses. That was really nice of her. And so if you guys want to go check out her stuff, it is the Little Yellow House. She has a YouTube channel and an Instagram and a blog. So go check out her stuff. You guys will like it. But yeah, my first winter alone in the wilderness, I'd say it was everything that I thought it would be. Even better. There was no major issues. Everything went well. Never had, we were never cold, never hungry, always happy and always healthy. So no complaints. It's been quite an experience out here. But yeah, anyways, the YouTube thing has been a lot of fun. I never expected it to grow as much as it has. I basically started this to show friends and family kind of what we were up to, because we'd get a lot of questions, like, how many logs did you get up, or how many, how does your power work, and, how does the bathroom work, or what do you guys do every day? So I was like, oh, let's just start a YouTube channel and throw up some videos. And so yeah, we really appreciate all the support that we've gotten. Can't thank you guys enough. It's been a lot of fun to read comments and meet people, from all over the world. It's been a lot of fun. So we're going to keep the videos coming, and we look forward to making more videos for you guys and seeing your comments. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.